She didn't break down, she confessed. A CPS document just exposed a disturbing truth: a mother who wanted her baby to feel her pain instead of shielding him from it. This isn't a parenting issue anymore. It's a crisis. The leaked CPS documents have ignited a firestorm online, revealing allegations far more troubling than anyone expected. What was once thought to be a sealed, confidential report is now public, and according to insiders from the Department of Child and Family Services, the contents point to a disturbing pattern of alleged abuse by Chrisean Rock. The file outlines repeated instances of violent language, emotional neglect, and physical intimidation, including a chilling account where her son Jr. was reportedly locked in a room while she screamed at the walls. One entry questions her judgment after she allegedly left the child without proper care to party on a beach at 3 a.m. These are no longer isolated incidents of emotional instability, they're documented moments, suggesting a deeper, more alarming reality that is now impossible to ignore. One deeply unsettling portion of the leaked Child Protective Services report has ignited a firestorm online and struck a nerve with parents, advocates, and mental health professionals alike. According to the report, Chrisean Rock allegedly made a haunting admission: she resented the world and, in some devastating way, that resentment had become tangled with the presence of her own child. The statement, detailed in the official documentation, was not portrayed as a momentary lapse in judgment or an emotional breakdown triggered by stress. Instead, it was described as a sober, painful confession, one that revealed a troubling inner war between her role as a mother and the unresolved turmoil she carried long before motherhood ever entered the picture. In the document, Chrisean reportedly stated that she never truly wanted to be a mother at the time the incident occurred. That raw admission paints a heartbreaking portrait of a young woman who stepped into parenthood while drowning in emotional, spiritual, and psychological confusion. The report goes further, claiming that she expressed a desire, conscious or not, for her baby to understand her suffering. As if an infant, incapable of language or complex emotion, could be made to witness, internalize, or somehow empathize with the weight of her past pain. This alleged desire to teach her son about her agony, instead of shielding him from it, is what has left so many readers of the report disturbed. The implications are harrowing. It suggests that rather than viewing her child as someone to protect, love, and nurture, Chrisean during these alleged moments saw him as an unwitting participant in her personal storm. The document mentions her speaking about spiritual confusion, unresolved anger from past relationships, and an overwhelming sense that she was not ready to take on the role of a mother. These are real struggles that many new parents face in silence. But the chilling twist here lies in how those feelings may have been turned outward, toward the child himself. What makes this so explosive is not just the nature of her alleged words, but what they represent in the broader conversation around postpartum depression, mental health in the public eye, and the consequences of unresolved trauma. The idea that a mother could project such pain onto her baby, intentionally or not, 'tis the type of tragedy that leaves no easy answers and stirs deep emotions from all corners of society. Online. The reactions have been polarizing. Some see this as the final collapse of Chrisean's public image, proof that fame and trauma have consumed her beyond repair. Others argue this could be part of a larger smear campaign, leaked with surgical precision to destroy her reputation in court and online. No matter the stance, the public consensus is clear. This revelation changes everything. It forces a re-examination of not just who Chrisean is, but what Jr. has already endured, and what must be done to protect him moving forward. Observers were stunned by the twisted dynamic revealed in that statement: a mother not seeking healing or refuge for her child, but instead projecting her trauma onto him, as if to teach him a lesson about her own suffering. To many, this reads as a complete reversal of the protective, nurturing instinct expected from a parent. Critics of Chrisean immediately jumped on the report, claiming this admission is the final nail in the coffin of her already crumbling reputation. Online forums erupted with commentary, some calling for her immediate removal from any custody arrangement, while others expressed sadness, saying this was a woman clearly in need of urgent mental health support. Yet despite the outrage, there is a growing segment of people who remain skeptical of the leak's timing and purpose. They question why this portion of the report, with such emotionally charged language, was revealed now, the height of public scrutiny. Some are calling it a character assassination orchestrated with surgical precision to ruin Chrisean permanently. These voices argue that what we are witnessing may not just be the unraveling of a troubled celebrity, but a targeted effort to discredit her completely, using her lowest moments against her. Whether this is an authentic reckoning or a strategic takedown, the consequences are enormous. What remains undeniable is the emotional and cultural weight of this revelation. It forces the public to confront uncomfortable truths about the intersection of fame, motherhood, trauma, and accountability. And it raises urgent questions. Is Chrisean a villain, a victim, or something in between? Did she break under pressure, or was she never fit for motherhood to begin with? As the fallout continues to unfold and more information trickles out, one thing is certain: the details inside this CPS report have changed the conversation forever. And we are only beginning to understand the full scope of its impact. Before the CPS bombshell hit the internet, there were already troubling signs brewing beneath the surface of Chrisean Rock's seemingly proud motherhood journey. She once glowed online, sharing bump photos, calling her unborn child her twin, and vowing to be the best mom anyone had seen. But behind those viral promises, those who followed her closely sensed something was off from the start. The cracks became clearer with each public fallout, especially the haunting moment she said on camera, "I don't even want this kid, but I'm having him anyway." After Junior's birth, things unraveled fast. Chaos followed him everywhere: nightclub appearances, court battles, explosive live streams. Blueface even accused her of leaving Junior crying alone in rooms. Disturbing leaks from her inner circle revealed a pattern of emotional outbursts, calling her baby a crying demon, and reacting violently to his presence. As fans raised alarms, CPS reportedly received multiple complaints from neighbors, nurses, and even fans watching her live streams, culminating in a devastating leaked report that paints Chrisean as emotionally unstable, verbally aggressive, and dangerously reactive. One line from the report echoed across every timeline: she admitted her child triggered past trauma and looked too much like Blueface. One of the most explosive claims in the ongoing CPS investigation centers around unreleased footage that reportedly captures a terrifying moment between Chrisean Rock and her infant son, Jr. According to insiders tied to the case, this footage, allegedly recorded from an indoor security device, shows Chrisean in the middle of an emotional meltdown. In the clip, she is seen yelling near her son, hurling objects across the room, and calling him disturbing names. Although the video has not been released to the public, its mere existence has ignited a media firestorm. Major outlets are allegedly in a race to obtain the clip, with TMZ, Hollywood Unlocked, and other platforms desperate to break the story wide open. The anticipation alone has magnified the intensity of public outrage, turning online speculation into a frenzy of condemnation. As transcripts and summaries of the video's content began to circulate, social media exploded. TikTok moms, parenting advocates, and concerned Twitter users quickly labeled the behavior not as a stressed mother cracking under pressure, but as abuse. Plain and simple, the footage, if as described, paints a picture of a volatile and dangerous environment for a child far too young to defend himself. What may have once been brushed off as overwhelmed parenting is now being dissected as evidence of something much more harmful. The internet's collective voice has shifted from concern to alarm, demanding that Junior be protected immediately and that the system take real action before more damage is done. Fueling the public backlash is Chrisean's ex, Blueface, who wasted no time capitalizing on the chaos. Within hours of the video's description going viral, he tweeted a cold, "Told y'all," implying that he had long warned people about Chrisean's instability. But he did not stop there. He resurfaced old clips of her screaming at their son and reposted them with a gut-punch caption: "Imagine being a baby and your mom hates you because you look like your dad." The comment hit like a lightning bolt, sending fans and critics alike into a deeper spiral of emotions. Some saw it as Blueface being vindictive, exploiting the situation for attention. Others believed he was finally shedding light on an ongoing crisis he had previously downplayed. Now, fans and observers are asking difficult, layered questions. Is Chrisean a broken young woman spiraling without emotional or mental health support? Or is there something more sinister unfolding behind closed doors? Did the fame, pressure, and toxic relationship break her down? Or were these behaviors always present? The scandal, once whispered about in comment sections, has exploded into a full-blown digital reckoning. And unlike past controversies that faded into silence, this one is only gaining momentum. With millions of eyes glued to every headline, and just when the public thought they had seen the worst, the narrative around Chrisean Rock flipped in a way no one expected, because someone close to her stepped in. That same night, a blurry Instagram live surfaced, showing Chrisean's older sister holding back tears as she spoke directly to the camera, visibly emotional. Y'all do not even know the half of it, she said. She was not always like this. Her voice cracked as she claimed Chrisean had been broken down, manipulated, and abandoned, especially by Blueface, who allegedly made her doubt her worth even as a mother. The comments section exploded when she hinted that Blueface had put hands on the baby, something never mentioned in the official CPS report. Suddenly, the conversation shifted. Was this just Chrisean spiraling, or was Jr caught between two deeply broken people? Fans began questioning whether both parents had failed the child from the beginning, with Jr now lost in the chaos, reportedly removed from the home within 48 hours of the CPS leak, but with no clear update on his whereabouts. Speculation grew. Was he in foster care, with relatives, or being used as leverage in a toxic custody battle? And just when things seemed at their worst, an even darker layer emerged. A whistleblower from Maryland's Child Protection Agency revealed the case had been active since Jr was only 3 months old, but a gag order kept it hidden. Now lifted, a flood of suppressed evidence is surfacing. Dozens of neighbor complaints, nurse-submitted concerns, welfare check screenshots, and a chilling case note where Chrisean allegedly admitted, "I am trying not to hate him for looking like his father." Then came the footage no one was supposed to see, leaked by a former Love and Hip Hop ATL producer, showing Chrisean backstage, fuming, yelling about how producers keep putting her around babies and screaming at staff to remove Jr from set. Her words, "It ain't gonna be my, it's gonna be him." The public fallout from the leaked CPS report and disturbing footage was swift and intense. With the backlash reaching a fever pitch almost overnight, major celebrities began weighing in, and their words carried heavy weight. Summer Walker took to Instagram to share her personal experience with postpartum struggles, but made it clear that what the world was witnessing with Chrisean Rock was far beyond that. "This ain't just stress," she wrote. "This baby is in danger." Tamar Braxton echoed the sentiment, going live to emotionally plead, "Somebody better get that baby before it's too late." Nick Cannon, often seen as a voice of reason in chaotic celebrity moments, posted, "We are losing too many of our babies in the middle of brokenness. This one hit me deep." The urgency in their messages sent ripples across platforms, but it was rapper Boosie who delivered the harshest verdict, bluntly declaring, "She needs jail, not therapy, not a camera, jail." His statement sparked an immediate firestorm. Twitter threads, YouTube debates, and TikTok reactions exploded with divided opinions. Some agreed, saying the footage and reports proved Chrisean was an unfit mother and that her behavior was criminal, not just emotional. Others pushed back, arguing that she was clearly in crisis and what she truly needed was intervention, not incarceration. Mental health advocates spoke out, insisting that Black women, especially those struggling with trauma, deserved compassion and rehabilitation, not punishment, as the internet argued over what Chrisean deserved. Another wave of questions began to build momentum. Where was Blueface in all this? For months, clips had circulated of him antagonizing Chrisean, mocking her mental health, and downplaying his own child's needs. Videos resurfaced where he taunted her during emotional breakdowns, laughed at her on live streams, and brushed off serious parenting responsibilities. Despite his public presence and history with Chrisean, Blueface had managed to dodge major scrutiny until now. People began pointing fingers at the system and at the public for allowing him to slide under the radar. "If she's unfit, what does that make him?" One tweet read, "He's been watching this unravel and never stepped in to help, only to humiliate her." Suddenly, the narrative expanded. This was no longer just a scandal about one unstable mother, it had become a tragic exposé of emotional neglect, mutual dysfunction, and a society more interested in spectacle than accountability. At the heart of this firestorm is Jr, baby who did not ask for any of this but now finds himself at the center of a very public war. What began as messy drama between two celebrities has now transformed into a national conversation about mental health, fame, parenting, and the dangerous gaps in our protective systems. The headlines may fade, but the consequences for that child will not. And as the world watches, one truth becomes painfully clear: this is no longer entertainment. This is a crisis, in a stunning revelation that flipped the entire narrative. An anonymous attorney allegedly connected to Chrisean in a separate civil case told Hip Hop Fiend Daily that Chrisean possesses explosive footage of Blueface yelling at baby Jr while under the influence. According to the attorney, she withheld the video out of fear that both parents would be labeled unfit if submitted in court, but warned that if Blueface continues provoking her, she might just release it. The bombshell sent the internet reeling, questioning whether Chrisean is spiraling. or strategically surviving. Then came the twist. No one could have predicted a mysterious envelope opened on her Instagram Live. As she pulled out photo after photo showing visible bruises on Jr., her expression shifted from confusion to horror. She abruptly ended the stream, tossed the photos aside, and has not been heard from since. Speculation exploded. Was it sent by Blueface, a warning from CPS, or someone close trying to push her over the edge? One viewer commented, "That was her breaking point. Something big is coming." And they might be right, because this scandal is now nuclear. What began as whispers of dysfunction has spiraled into a full-blown public crisis. Within 24 hours of the CPS report leaking, a Change.org petition demanding Jr. be permanently removed from Chrisean's custody gained over 320,000 signatures, crossing 1.1 million by day 2. The outrage wasn't just online commentary. It became front-page news. CNN reported on the public's demand for action, while BuzzFeed likened the fallout to the R. Kelly case. One CPS insider reportedly told TMZ, "We've never experienced this kind of pressure before." As the spotlight burns hotter, celebrities are now taking sides. Suki Hana posted a tearful story, sharing her own struggles with postpartum depression and urging compassion. Jasmine Sullivan tweeted that Black women need healing, not punishment. On the flip side, Remy Ma commented, "UNFIT," in all caps, under a blog post. Funk Flex went on a radio rant, condemning Chrisean's behavior as dysfunction disguised as art. Even 50 Cent joined in, trolling her with a meme that sent fans into a frenzy. What followed was a social media civil war. On one side, #cancel Chrisean supporters demanding accountability. On the other, #justice for Chris, EAN, defenders calling for empathy, blaming Blueface and the entertainment industry for breaking her spirit. Meanwhile, legal experts stepped in. One family law attorney told the Jasmine brand that if the evidence checks out, Chrisean could permanently lose custody and possibly face charges. As the legal chaos unfolds and public outrage continues to swell, the conversation has turned toward what happens next for baby Jr. and it is clear that neither parent may be seen as a safe option. A lawyer reportedly advising Blueface hinted that the court might avoid awarding custody to either parent, suggesting instead that Jr. could be placed with a neutral guardian. This would mean a relative or state-appointed caretaker would assume responsibility. Acknowledging the deep emotional and psychological damage allegedly inflicted by both Chrisean and Blueface, the idea that the child needs to be completely removed from his parents' orbit is gaining traction, especially after a former child advocate added a sobering perspective. "We've seen this story too many times. Everyone gets loud after the child gets hurt." That statement echoed across social media, driving home the reality that viral attention often comes too late. This rising fear of being too late is now reverberating through the very industry that helped shape the chaos. Zeus Network, the streaming platform that turned Chrisean into a household name through controversial reality shows, is facing fierce backlash. Thousands of comments are flooding their social pages, accusing them of glorifying dysfunction, turning emotional pain into entertainment, and profiting off Chrisean's mental decline without stepping in to help. Viewers are asking hard questions. If producers saw these moments happening in real-time breakdowns, erratic behavior, emotional instability, why did no one intervene? Why was it encouraged for ratings? Inside sources claim Zeus executives have held multiple emergency meetings over the last 48 hours to determine their next steps. With public trust eroding rapidly, there is now pressure to either release a statement, suspend Chrisean-related programming, or possibly sever ties altogether. VH1 is also reportedly monitoring the situation, though they have not aired Chrisean in recent years. There is concern that old love and hip-hop behind-the-scenes footage showing her struggling could resurface. If that happens, critics argue that VH1 too could be implicated for enabling a dangerous environment under the guise of entertainment, but the most heartbreaking shift has come from the fans themselves. In Baltimore, the city where Chrisean was born and raised, supporters have organized a candlelight vigil for Jr. Flyers circulating on Facebook show a photo of the baby under the words, "Protect our sons." The vigil, scheduled to be held at Druid Hill Park, is not just a local event, it's a statement. A desperate call for protection, empathy, and justice for an innocent child caught in a storm of fame, violence, and instability. This situation is no longer being viewed as just a messy celebrity scandal. It has become a national reckoning, a plea for accountability, compassion, and above all, child safety. In the eyes of the public, Junior is no longer just Chrisean's baby or Blueface's son. He has become a symbol of everything that goes wrong when fame, dysfunction, and inaction collide. As the nation holds its breath, a grassroots movement is emerging to show love to the one person caught in the middle of this chaos. Junior, this baby is fighting a silent war, said one vigil organizer. He deserves more than survival. He deserves love, stability, and a community that truly sees him. Flyers titled "Protect Our Sons" have begun circulating across Facebook, featuring Junior's photo alongside a call to gather at Druid Hill Park this Friday for a candlelight vigil in his name. Cameras will be there, and so will the eyes of the world. But just as emotions began to stir around this public outpouring of support, a seismic legal twist sent shockwaves through the story. In a move no one anticipated, Blueface's mother, Carissa Saffold, known to some as a truth speaker, and to others as a chaos starter, filed for emergency guardianship of baby Junior. The legal petition, filed in Maryland Family Court, is packed with bold declarations. In one line that has since gone viral, Carissa wrote, "This baby has no consistent love, no structure, and no safe place. I've tried to stay quiet. I've tried to help from the sidelines. But now, this child is in danger." She did not stop there. Both of his parents are too immature to recognize the damage they're causing. "If the state won't act fast enough, I will. I refuse to be the grandmother planning a funeral, wishing I had spoken up sooner." That single sentence caught fire across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Repostized, debated, and dissected. And then Carissa took to Instagram Live, sitting with a red Solo cup in hand, head wrap on, and frustration boiling over. She looked into the camera and said to her 200,000 followers, "I told y'all years ago, this girl wasn't ready for motherhood. She couldn't care for a pet, let alone a baby. Now CPS sees it, the internet sees it, and still folks want to tiptoe around the truth." She pointed directly at the lens and continued, "I offered to help. Chrisean told me to stay away. I told my son to man up, and he said, 'I got it.' Well, clearly he didn't. This baby's pain is leaking all over the internet, and y'all are watching it unfold in real time. Not on my watch." The internet erupted. The story just took another turn, and this time, it is coming from inside the family.